So I found this old drawing of a character I drew when I was 9 years old. It was like some kind of poster type thing of a character called Thunderbolt or something like that. And I was trying to go for like that two-sided thing when I was little. Of course, I was like 9, so I was pretty bad at drawing. So I decided I was gonna redraw it. So yeah, here we are. So as you can see here, I'm just drawing the head and just getting that shoulder. I'm going for that usual look over the shoulder pose I do nowadays. So basically, I'm just redrawing what I drew when I was little, with the whole half side being my like little generic Thunderbolt character, and the other half being that also very generic Black Bolt character, which is literally just an evil version of my Thunderbolt character, which I think every 9-year-old who drew a lot when they were that age, or even 8-year-old or younger, like any little kid, usually tended to do that when it came to character creation. That's what I've learned a lot, because as you can tell, it's just like a thing little kids do, because they'll like create like a good guy character, like a very generic good guy character, and then they'll create like and then they'll go create like a very generic bad guy character that's just a recolored version of the good guy character. So, and then they'll call it quote unquote original, which is what I used to do when I was little. So as you can see here, I'm redrawing it. I'm still going for that like half effect where it's like half Thunderbolt, half Black Bolt. So yeah, pretty much. So as you can see here, I'm just trying to get the arms. I made it a little bigger so that way I could just focus mainly on the upper body. And yeah, I'm just readjusting the pen size, all that good stuff. And of course, I just put a circle for the head and just drew around there. And of course, I forgot to put on a separate layer. And it did take me quite a few tries to actually really get it when it came to the chin. I don't know why I was struggling with the chin so much, but I was struggling with the chin. So, of course, it took me a few tries to get it right. But I eventually got it right, and yeah, I even readjusted the pen size so it'd be a little skinnier because I didn't want it to be like too thick. So yeah, so as you can see here, just drawing the basic head, started doing it on a separate layer now, and yeah, so of course now as you can see here, I'm just getting that chin in, and now that I'm doing it on two separate layers, I wasn't doing it, yeah. There you go. So I just erased that. And of course, I think I went to go get water here, and that's why there's just this long break in the time lapse. I think that's what it was. I think I forgot to pause the recording on that. And then as you can see here, I came back, and I just drew the chin and all that stuff. And yeah, so basically, I just drew the body, drew some nice little abs. Of course, I did keep the head pretty big, and I didn't want to make him too bulky and muscular because the character is supposed to be like 15 or something. So yeah, I don't know. I don't remember a lot. I did create this character when I was like 9. So yeah. So of course, basically I'm just creating the arms here. Not much going on. So there you go. And yeah. So now, of course, I got mainly most of the main body inking done. So now you can see the main outer frame of it. And yeah, so now, of course, then I started getting to work on all the little details, like, the eyes, all that stuff. So, of course, I was trying to go for these sharp eyes, similar to the ones in the original. So yeah. It is always fun to see like how different you draw, like because that was from when I'm like 9 and I'm drawing this when I'm like 14. So it's nice to see that difference, of how much you progress over time. So of course, as you can see here, I messed up a little bit there, and I just redrew that. Yeah, that was both. I remember when I was 9, I didn't even know people drew on like tablets or whatnot. I always thought drawing was on like paper. Little did I know, but I was 9, so obviously I wouldn't know about that kind of stuff. But, now I'm doing completely digital. So, things change. So, yeah. So, as you can see here, of course, I'm just drawing the shoulder pad. I do definitely notice that I have a lot of traits that when it comes to, like, when I create characters, like the lines going down the eyes, like all these little traits. Like, for example, the shoulder pads. I have a lot of characters with shoulder pads. And, I don't know. It's just a lot of design tropes that apparently I didn't even know started that young. So, now, of course, I was doing a few attempts at that little bootleg Flash logo I created for that character when I was little. So, yeah. Of course, I mean, it does look pretty good now. Considering that it's literally a redraw of something I drew from when I was 9. Of course, I did it twice because I needed to make sure I got it pretty good. Because I wanted it to look a little better than what I originally had. I, of course, readjusted the size, and yeah, now as you can see, it looks a little better now. And, of course, added a little lightning bolt down there. And there you go. And that's mainly all of the detail inking. And I was struggling to figure out how I was gonna do the, like sort of half one character, half other character thing. And then I just decided to draw these lines down it and then have a line go off. And of course, so yeah. As you can see here, I just started coloring in things. I didn't color it completely black, just a very dark gray. So yeah, as you can see here. And then of course in here I just went through and just kind of half that little lightning bolt so I could half it later. So as you can see, now it's going to be half black and red and half blue and light blue. Like I said, 2 separate characters. And it's already starting to look pretty good compared. I mean, obviously it would look better than the original because the original was like from when I was 9. So yeah, now as you can see, of course, now I was really deciding what kind of, background I wanted to do for each. Before I finally came to the decision to have one side be a very dark shade of gray and then one side to be a very dark shade of blue. So as you can see here, that's what I did. And then of course I started adding little red lines for the lightning bolts, which I would later add a glow effect to. So as you can see here, just a bunch of little lightning bolts and whatnot. And of course on these I had to change the color. So yeah, pretty much. So there you go. And then, of course, I got the hard airbrush tool to basically just make that nice little glow effect on the lightning bolts so they look more like, lightning bolt, like energy coming off of them. And yeah, so as you can see, I even did the same thing for the red one. All that good stuff. And yeah. Then, of course, we went again with a bigger hard airbrush so I could, like, make it feel more like it's glowing off them a bit. And then, of course, now as you can see here, what I was doing is I was handling the shading a bit. I kind of just copied and pasted the layer and then just kind of colored it in all black. Set the opacity 50% and just started erasing. That's usually what I like to do when I have like a background that's, all light. So it looks more like, the light's coming from the back. So as you can see here, this is when I started doing shading and all that. So yeah, of course, shoulder pads was a little tricky. But I managed to figure that one out, and yeah, so, of course, we just gotta erase all these little bits, and of course, erase the, logo, so that way it pops out a little more, and yeah, and of course, as you can see here, just, sharpening some of the shadows here, so it's a little more crisp, and yeah, so now as you can see, we are getting a little closer. Of course, this is when I had to recolor some of that in. And yeah, so on that note, here is the final product. So yeah, there you go. That was me redrawing my little childhood drawing there. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.